UFC Vegas 92. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Main event, Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card. So make sure you guys smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video as well. And also note I'll be live for the entire card Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So don't miss the fight companion. Let's jump into the fights. Starting the card off, ladies going after it. It's Emily Ducote versus Vanessa Demopoulos. I really think Emily Ducote is a clearly better striker. Good Muay Thai style, pretty quick hands, counter shots well. I think she's so much quicker and precise on the feet than Vanessa Demopoulos. I see a pretty lopsided 30-27 incoming. Demopoulos has decent jiu-jitsu, but she doesn't really have great wrestling takedowns. I think Ducote's going to be able to sting her up with good shots. She just seems like such the cleaner striker. Now, I know Demopoulos 4-1 in the last 5. I mean, it's like pretty impressive on paper, but when you dig in a bit, it's Kanako Murata, who was a one-dimensional wrestler who got exposed, and then Kavokevich lost, totally forgivable, to be honest. I mean, Kavokevich is pretty game, OG. Mariah Oliveira was mid. The Jin Frey fight was a controversial decision. And then the Gomez-Juarez fight, she was dropped and got the armbar. Gomez-Juarez obviously lacking the jits. Emily Ducote on the other side, I think is on her way to pulling it off. I see it. I mean, 2-2 in the UFC isn't a great record. Last time touched up Ashley Yoder, Jessica Penne win. And then you can see Angela Hill and Lupi Godinez losses are like creme de la creme level. Like, it's pretty top tier. That's top 15 talent. So I think Emily Ducote's on her way to getting a clear decision. As far as the odds, Ducote's the minus 335 favorite. Wow. It's gotten wide, man. This line is swelling up. It was opened at minus 175. It's swelled all the way to minus 400. I think money probably going to keep running down. You're going to see it even wider. And then Demopoulos plus 275 with an over 2.5 at minus 400. For the most part, we know these ladies' fights tend to go very long. I'm going to anticipate this fight to go the distance. I think Emily Ducote is good to get a decision here. I'm pretty confident she pulls it off. You got ugly betting lines, though, and unfortunately, chalky as hell, Ducote's side. But I really think she beats Demopoulos. She's younger. She's more precise with the stand-up. She's got very good takedown defense. Note that as well. And I don't think Demopoulos has much success on the feet with Ducote. Ducote, she's not known for the power, right? But there is a possibility she could land some bombs and rock Demopoulos. But being at the apex, I don't know. I just have a feeling that we're not getting a finish. We're not going to have as chaotic of a night as we did this past Saturday with UFC St. Louis. So I'm going to go Ducote decision on this one. All right, let's keep on running. Next fight on the card, we have Alatengheili versus Clayton Rodrigues. I'm going to go with Alatengheili. I got to go with the veteran experience in this fight. Haley does have decent wrestling. He's got solid boxing pressure. And Clayton Rodrigues is very suspect with wrestling. He also has a super suspect gas tank. His last fight, he took on Farid Basharat and he got worked in the first round. But like there was moments where he looked explosive and dangerous striking, which I expect from Clayton. But he lost in that first round. Not necessarily a bad loss because I think Farid Basharat is definitely the better of the Basharat brothers, to be fair. But I dig back one fight, and it's Shannon Ross, who's a flyweight and did terrible in his UFC career. And fight before that, it's the Vergara split decision. Regardless if it maybe was a bit controversial, Rodrigues was on his back a lot. I question Rodrigues' takedown defense. I question Rodrigues' fight IQ. What I see is an explosive Muay Thai striker with really nasty body kicks. But on the opposite side, I have a Mongolian savage with a good chin, a lot of fight experience, and I think a game that's going to be very tricky for Clayton Rodrigues to figure out. I think ultimately Rodrigues could be live to win the first round using that explosiveness and speed advantage. And I think Alatengheili will find success maybe in the second and third. I'm going to lean Alatengheili on a close decision. I'm going to say it's 29-28 for Alatengheili in this fight. I'm going with the dog. I'm going with UFC experience. Clayton, he seems like a good prospect, but he's 1-2. And like just because he's young doesn't mean he's actually eventually going to be good. We don't know for sure. He looks explosive, and there's promise maybe on some of the film when you see the techniques, but there's also like clear holes. The takedown defense worries me. Overall, the jiu-jitsu isn't bad, but I don't think he's going to be able to do much from the bottom with Elatong's heaviness from top. And then on top of that, the gas tank woes are a concern. He is moved up now to 135, so I guess we'll see how he looks in a third round, and we could get like a totally better version of Clayton. But I don't think he should be near 2-1 as the favorite. I don't think that makes sense. Odds for the fight, actually, they've come down a lot. Wow, Alatengheili, it's gotten closer. It was up of near 2-1. Now, minus 148 for Clayton. A lot of love on Alatengheili, who's now just a plus 128. Are the people picking Alateng? Slightly. So, pretty tossed between the people. I think Alateng wins a decision as a dog. I think it's a mismarked line. He's still pretty game. I mean, his last loss is to Chris Gutierrez, who's top 15. It's a different tier of opposition that he's seen as opposed to Clayton Rodrigues. So to me, I got to go with Alatengheili by decision. I'm going to lean the veteran experience and him to get a gritty decision over Clayton, especially with the smaller cage. I think Alatengheili could have some success pressuring Clayton, backing him up and controlling him in the clinch and working takedowns from there. So I'm going Alatengheili by decision. Underdog on that one. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, ladies going after it. Pinheiro Rodrigues versus Adrian Carnelossi. I'm going to pick Pinheiro Rodrigues, but I got to say, Adrian Carnelossi is jacked as fuck. I don't even understand how a woman's just this jacked without taking testosterone. She's built like a damn 155-pound male. Mateusz Rambeshki and her, physique-wise, look more like siblings. She's freakishly jacked, but can she fight? That's the question, right? And at the UFC level, no, I don't think she's that good. She's a tough girl, though. Scrappy girl. I got to pop this in out. Scrappy girl, scrappy style. Has decent hands on her. Some Muay Thai, some Jiu-Jitsu, but like not really that quality of wrestling. Got absolutely worked by Lupi. And then even Na Liang was having success against her in the first round. She gets wild and reckless. Pinheiro Rodrigues, she has a solid game. And like, I have to kind of highly regard a Sam Hughes win. Sam Hughes is a crafty veteran. And then a Jillian Robertson loss. As good as Robertson's jiu-jitsu is, there's really no shame there. I know Pinheiro was getting worked on the ground, but that doesn't mean she isn't a good grappler. She just fought a different tier of grappler. I think Pinheiro can get a hard-fought win over Carnelossi. I think she can win a decision. I think Pinheiro Rodrigues' striking should be fine in this fight as well with Carnelossi. I know Carnelossi looks like she'd be an absolute powerhouse and she throws big shots, but overall, like, it's a true statement. Having like freakishly big arms is not necessarily good for your striking, specifically your boxing, right? I don't think Carnelossi has one-touch power. I think she's a menacing presence, and she hasn't fought in a while, man. It's been 2 years. I know she was dealing with a herniated disc prior to that Lupi Godinez fight, heading into that matchup against Estela Nunes. I think, I don't know, the Lupi Godinez fight, the neck injury is a problem. I believe she was out for the 2 years because of the herniated disc. I was digging into the internet and I didn't find it. Maybe there's some Portuguese interview that you guys could find to get the exact answer. But I think Pinheiro Rodrigues should be able to win a decision, and expect some takedowns, expect a calculated attack, and I think she gets it on the scorecards here. As far as the odds, Piera's minus 178 opposite Carnelossi at plus 153. I'm going Pinheiro Rodrigues to win. Over is minus 250, probably over rounds here. I think both these girls are game enough to go the full 3. And another ladies over hitting, man. These ladies fights going long. Let's keep on running up. Next fight on the card, we have Abus Magomedov versus Warlley Alves. I'm going to pick Abus Magomedov, even though he's become kind of a bust as far as his UFC career. Lost to Caio Baralho, but he still went distance in the fight. Like, I can't absolutely knock him for that loss. Baralho's pretty good. And then Sean Strickland, former champion, he beat him. He lost to Strickland in the fight right before he became champ. Like, that's fine. Dustin Stoltzfus is more mid-tier. Warlley Alves is on a losing streak right now. 1-4 in the last 5. He was losing down at 170 pounds, went up, and Ali Askarov separated him from consciousness viciously. And I think Abus Magomedov will find success in striking too. I still think there's some explosiveness to Abus' stand-up game. I still think he can find clean shots on Warlley Alves. I believe Abus Magomedov is going to pull off a finish, I think. I think so. I think stylistically, the striking from range is a positive factor for Abus. I know that Alves does have decent kicks to the body. He's got a Muay Thai stand-up style, but he's jiu-jitsu based. And if you look, I mean, that Munir Lazez win was impressive. That was a long time ago. And that was a sick finish, though. He ripped him with big body shots, and the kicks were on point that fight. I would be shocked if he did that to Abus. So I'm going to call an Abus Magomedov knockout. I think he can find the chin. I think he can win this fight by finish. Am I going to tell you to throw the fucking hammer down on Abus by KO? I wouldn't, but I do think Abus is going to be the winner. It wouldn't blow my mind if it went longer. The over 1.5 is plus money. Wow. Over 2.5 is plus 155. Damn. So a finish is anticipated here. I do think Abus can get a KO. I still think Abus can have some highlight reel moments in the UFC. He's just lost to the best guys, right? Caio Baralho is an amazing prospect now breaking into the rankings. Sean Strickland is the former world champion. And let's be real, Abus won the first round against Strickland. He's not going to lose to Warlley Alves. To me, it's just how does he get it done? I'm going to call a knockout. I'm going to have faith that he looks impressive here. And I think that we're going to, kind of see if maybe Abus can make at least a run back to the top 20. There's potential for it. I worry about him. I'm not fading the OV here. I'm riding with the OV. I picked against the EV last week with Buckley over Rizzy Boyev. That came through beautifully. You guys know I like to go with the OVs. I've missed a couple of them going against. Obviously, I've hit some going against too. This week, I'm going back to the OV over everything. We're going with Abus Magomedov over Warlley Alves. And I am going to call it KO. I don't think Alves' stand-up can compete with Magomedov's, and I don't see Alves with the takedown option. I'm going to assume Magomedov KOs him. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card, Tamires Vidal versus Melissa Gatto. So this is a late edition fight. Vidal was supposed to fight Haley Cohen. She pulled out. Gatto steps in. Note that Melissa Gatto is moving up from 125 to fight at 135, but I like that. Go and watch Melissa Gatto at 125. She is freakishly lean. Her body fat is shred level. Like, I don't know what it would be with women's body fats different from men, but like, dog, she looks like 8%. She looks lean as hell. And I think the body fat on her is going to be better. I'm going with Gatto to win. I think Gatto could have a breakout performance here. I think she can win by submission against Vidal. Vidal has okay stand-up. She's got good leg kicks, and she's got okay striking with the hands, but a little sloppy, a little brawler-esque. She lost to Montserrat Rendon, and Rendon's really not a good striker, but Rendon found takedowns in that fight. I think Melissa Gatto can also find takedowns here, but I believe she'll be more effective at 135 pounds. There might be more punching power. I think her kicks have always been good. I think Melissa Gatto is going to win the fight. I think Melissa Gatto is going to end up getting a finish. I think she could submit Tamires Vidal. Vidal's raw, man. The way she fights is raw. She's suspect on the ground. Eileen Perez fought her. That was, I believe, Samurai Fight House was the promotion. And Eileen Perez was winning the fight, but through illegal knees, got a DQ loss. So Vidal has a win over Eileen Perez. But remember, go back, rewatch. She was getting control on the ground. She lost to Carnelossi by submission. That's another factor. So I think Tamires Vidal is live to get subbed up here by Melissa Gatto. So I am going to ride with Gatto to win by sub. And when you look at Gatto's last two, I mean, Tracy Cortez, phenomenal wrestling, really good contender at 25. Ariane Lipsky, very solid talent at 125. I think that Melissa Gatto at 135 might look better than before. And I think she should definitely beat more of a back-end prospect here in Tamires Vidal, who's a bit of a raw talent. So we're going with Melissa Gatto by sub. Odds are nasty wide for her, though. My God. Minus 350 for Gatto. Vidal is plus 276. I'm going to say we go under at plus 145. I think Gatto's got a chance to win by submission. She does have subs on the record, even though in the UFC, we got 2 KO wins. And then you see that Carl hosts a submission win 5 years ago. And I mean, not to use MMA math, Vidal got subbed up by her, but it shows the grappling level of Gatto is going to be nasty. And I think better than Tamires Vidal seen before as far as with jiu-jitsu. Rendon's like a strong takedown artist, but not finishing ability. She's never finished anybody. Gatto's got the submission threat. Gatto's got the striking threat too. I think her kicks are nasty. Vidal kicks to the legs nice, but I think Gatto kicks to all levels better. So I'm going to go Melissa Gatto by submission over Vidal, but damn, the odds are wide, man. A sub prop should be interesting. Next fight on the card, we have Oumar Sy versus Antonio Trócoli. Oumar Sy is the call. The dude's a freakish athlete. We haven't seen him fight at a true high level yet. He's just been beating the shit out of ex-UFC fighters. Ildemar Alcantara, he ran through. He fought Luis Henrique de Silva and subbed him up. You see other wins here in KSW, wins in Aries. I think Oumar Sy's got some quality upstanding potential. I mean, 6'5", almost an 84-inch reach, strong, physically, explosive with the hands, finishing ability with ground and pound. To me, I see a way better opponent than Trócoli, who, you dig back, he was fighting at 170 pounds, right? I remember when he was set to fight Ovince St. Preux for his debut, and I noticed the reason he filled into this frame at 205 is, bro, he was taking steroids, man. He popped Nandrolone, okay, which is a steroid that, like, puts a lot of bulk on you. It thickens you up, bro. And Trócoli was at 170, losing to Jacob Volkmann. If you don't know Jacob Volkmann, he's a meme forever. And he was a UFC fighter a long time ago. At 170. Now he's fighting at 205 versus Oumar Sy, who's a fucking monster, who's a prospect that I think we got to keep our eye on from France. And France has been delivering some really good talent. And I think Oumar Sy is going to continue that trend. There should be too much power, too much wrestling strength, too much control. Like, it should be a stoppage win. I don't think Trócoli is all that good. And he's very suspect on the ground. I think his stand-up is okay, but I'm not going to be jumping up and down about it. He had a win by submission on Contender Series 4 years ago, and then 2.5 years ago was his last fight. I know he was scheduled to fight OSP, but that was a while ago, and the drug test failure from Contender Series leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. And I remember absolutely shafting him back in that breakdown. I think Oumar Sy is in a perfect position to run through Trócoli. We're going to find out, right? Like, you can go watch these guys fight Ildemar. Like, watch Oumar Sy run through Ildemar Alcantara and just take him down, beat the shit out of him. Alcantara's ain't been in the UFC a long time. He's old. Trócoli, at the end of the day, decent Brazilian. He fought on Contender and won by sub. But the steroid test will always leave a bad taste in my mouth. And I think that Oumar Sy is on his way to winning this fight. So we're going with Oumar Sy for the finish. But I'm excited to see guys debut in the UFC. Light heavyweight division always needs some talent. And we'll find out their level. I think Oumar Sy, from what I believe to be true about him, deserves a tag of minus 270. But ultimate truth to be told, we won't know their level until the cage door closes, because they're debuting guys, and it's not like they're recent Contender Series fighters either. Trócoli fought in Contender Series years ago, and Oumar Sy is a prospect coming up through, Aries FC, KSW, etc. So looking at it, over 1.5 is minus 180. I'm thinking we're going under 2.5. I think Oumar Sy does finish Trócoli. So I'm going to go Oumar Sy to get it done, to finish it off. I'm going to have faith in the prospect. I believe in the French Savage. The physicality and explosiveness should be a factor, and I think he's going to end up beating Antonio Trócoli. But we shall find out when the cage door closes, man. Oumar Sy's got the hype on him. All of France is behind him. And the way they're building these French guys up, like, you see a French dude coming through, undefeated record, a lot of finishes, and some ex-UFC talent on the resume with wins, not losses against them. I got to go Oumar Sy, finish. KO. Probably ground and pound. He'll beat the jiu-jitsu out. Next fight on the card is our featured prelim of the night. We got Tom Nolan versus Victor Martinez. Guys, if Tom Nolan doesn't win this fight, I don't know what to think. Like, I'll be just confused. Tom Nolan is 6'3". He's got knockout power. He's got some stinging shots with straights. He's a southpaw. He hits very hard. And I think that on the opposite side of him, Victor Martinez is an okay striker with, like, decent head movement and a boxing heavy attack, but, like, nothing impressive. Like, looks very average tier in my opinion. Versus Nolan, like, when he fought Bogdan Grad on fucking Contender, I thought he was going to run through Nicholas Mota. Absolutely, I was wrong there, and he got caught clean in that fight. But Nicholas Mota is a seasoned power puncher with some clean, devastating shots that he's landed in the UFC before. Victor Martinez is getting knocked out in the first round by a damn knee and punches against Jordan Levitt. He got destroyed in that first round. It was crazy because I never thought Levitt's knocking anybody out, and he ran Victor Martinez out. I think Tom Nolan's going to probably devastatingly knock him out and get a little bit of hype back on his side after a pretty bad UFC debut where he was viciously flattened by Nicholas Mota. So we're going Tom Nolan. I'm going KO. I still think he's pretty explosive and powerful. His striking from range is on point. He's gnarly with the straights. And Victor Martinez, to me, is just not impressive. He's a tough dude, but not going to be tough enough to deal with Tom Nolan. It's a big skill level difference. Nolan's minus 425, the favorite. I think he should be. Victor Martinez plus 325, the underdog. The over is plus 140. The under is minus 170. So a finish is expected here. Even though there's not a crazy reach difference, the height, the kick length, the straight shots, I think Tom Nolan from the outside is going to do pretty damn well. And I think ultimately Victor Martinez, the way he should look at this fight is by putting takedown pressure on Tom Nolan. But I just think with the height difference, he's not going to get him down. I really see Tom Nolan absolutely destroying Victor Martinez. Like, it should be a round of fighting. And I think Tom Nolan should knock him out. Could it go longer because Martinez is tough and maybe the Jordan Levitt knockout was a rarity? It's not like he's getting chinned left and right. He was on a win streak coming into the UFC, but I think Tom Nolan is just way more impressive. So I'm going Nolan, knockout win. I think he's going to devastate Victor Martinez, and the hype will slowly come back for the Australian. Let's keep running. Next fight, it brings us to our main card opener. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe it up. We have Angela Hill versus Luana Pinheiro. I'm going to go with Angela Hill to win this fight. I think Hill will do well because Pinheiro, for the most part, likes striking. I know there's a judo base there, but I don't really have high confidence that she's going to be hip tossing and throwing Angela Hill around. I don't think so. I think Angela Hill's going to be faster with strikes, especially with the boxing. I think her and Pinheiro are going to be competitive at moments, but I think Angela Hill's multi-shot combos will land. I know Pinheiro was doing fairly well against Khaos in the stand-up, and I think that's simply because the style matchup, right? Pinheiro's ability to stop the throws from, an Amanda Khaos because of the Pinheiro judo being there. But Angela Hill is going to look to strike. Angela Hill is going to want to keep it on the feet. And I think that Angela Hill is going to find pretty clean punches. I don't think it's a washout. I think there's still moments for Pinheiro. She's still pretty decent with her striking in her own right. She's got okay hooks. She's got some snapping kicks. She's got a little bit of speed on her. But Angela Hill's definitely faster. And she's also faster and more fluid in her multi-shot combination. So I have to favor Angela Hill with combinations. I think the better combo striker, Angela Hill. I think the takedown defense of Angela Hill. I don't see Pinheiro ragdolling her, bullying her on the ground. We've seen Angela Hill stop takedowns against good opposition before, and Angela Hill tends to do well against like unproven up-and-coming contenders, and I think that's where Angela Hill forever shines, and I think she sends back another prospect. Looking at it, Hill's last fight, beat Denise Gomes, who was a great prospect on the come-up. Lost to Mackenzie Dern, but a Mackenzie Dern loss is not terrible, even though Dern has some horrible moments. And then lost here to Khaos. She ended up getting finished in the third round. She looked good before that. Split decision with Michelle Watterson, the Sam Hughes win. But Sam Hughes, it's like she passed that test, but we're farther up in the ranks. The Ronda Marcos up kick. It's like I lost some intrigue in Luana Pinheiro when she bailed out on that fight with Marcos after the illegal up kick. I think Angela Hill can pull off a clean decision here. I think she moves to 17-13. So give me Angela Hill to win. The odds for the fight have Angela Hill at minus 129, a really slight favorite, with Pinheiro at plus 109. At open, Pinheiro was minus 110. So the line was essentially even on both fronts. I do think we're going over at minus 400. I do think Angela Hill is a close favorite, pulls it off. I think Pinheiro's getting the dog love. People love her, 62%. The people's underdog. She's reminding me a little bit of Sultan Riziboyev last week, the people's dog. And I think the people are going to be wrong on this one. I think Angela Hill by decision to start the night off over Luana Pinheiro. I think she'll get it done. I think she'll pull this through. Next fight on the card, we have Adrian Yanez versus Vincia Salvador. And I'm going to say it like this, just like this. If Adrian Yanez doesn't win this fucking fight, his UFC career is gone. That's it. It's done. And the hype on him was tremendous on the come up. Like, we believed Yanez was the next Masvidal, the bantamweight Masvidal. The boxing is gnarly. The power is sick. the marketability is there. At least it was there. But Yanez has been taking L's. He lost last time out badly to Jonathan Martinez. His legs got destroyed. But to be fair, Jonathan Martinez is a pretty good top 15 talent. Fight before that, Rob Font whooped him, man. Rob Font brought it to him. He couldn't deal with the jabs. We've seen him struggle with jabs before. Randy close to touch him with good jabs. Vinicius Salvador is a weird one because he does have good striking. But I just can't fathom him beating my guy Yanez. I think Yanez can pull through. Salvador's pretty slick. Like, he's got a nice knockout over Shannon Ross, who was on Contender. Lost to Altamiriano in the UFC and Vergara. Both fights go distance, right? But different styles. Now he takes on a fellow striker. He's a former 25er, though. Come on, man. It can't be. It can't be. Adrian Yanez has to knock out Vinicius Salvador. If fucking Salvador beats him, I might freak out on him, or I might cry. I'm going to be very disappointed because I really think Yanez's hands are going to pull through. I think Salvador is slick, but he's not overly impressive. He's got decent Muay Thai from the outside. He throws solid kicks from range. He does have a good snapping hook, but I don't think Yanez walks into anything crazy. And another aspect of Salvador that he doesn't have here is a reach advantage. I mean, he's got half an inch, but not really. And he also, to me, doesn't have a magnificent jab. I think guys like Rob Font, like that, destroyed Yanez, right? The substantial weapon that can be frequently used is something that in the striking range, I think Yanez will struggle with. Leg kicks from Jonathan Martinez. I expect Salvador to be leg kick heavy here. I think he's also probably going to try and work some jabs, but I don't think that those techniques are his master forte, right? And I think Yanez is going to find some big punches. I think he'll close the gap. He's actually going to probably look to work the body a little bit, come up with some hooks up high. I see Yanez putting Vinicius Salvador to sleep. Yanez by KO. I'm having faith, man. I'm not jumping ship. I'm not going Vinicius Salvador over damn Yanez, man, who's taking L's at 25, and now he's going to come up and take on Yanez and knock him out. Like, I know for a fact all of the UFC inside is hoping Yanez can pull through, and I'm going to be one of them. I'm hoping he pulls through. I think he does win. Minus 320, it's wide as it should be. Yanez has fought better guys. And then Salvador plus 270. Over 1.5 is minus 170. It could end earlier. Could be more calculated and technical, but I think Yanez's power wins him the fight. I'm going to say Yanez, knockout. He sleeps Vinicius Salvador. Now I got to see. 96% of the people on Yanez. Everybody's on him. I really don't think Salvador's good enough, though. Like, forget about odds. Throw that shit out the window. Look at the fight. Salvador, what, he's going to outpoint him from range for 3 rounds? He's going to cleanly knock out Yanez, who's a full-fledged 35er? No. Yanez has more power. Yanez is going to KO him. Yanez knockout win over Vinicius Salvador. Next fight on the card, it's our featured bout of the night. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Themba Gorimbo. You guys are going to say I'm delirious for this, but I'm going to go Ramiz Brahimaj. I have consistently faded Themba Gorimbo because I will never forget the fight against AJ Fletcher, where I think he showed substantial vulnerability, man. I know he looks fairly strong as of late, bodying Takashi Sato, destroying Pete Rodrigues. But let's dissect those wins for a second. Pete Rodrigues might as well be called Pete the Cell Rodrigues, okay? Because he absolutely sold. He got laid out in striking. Themba's explosive, sure. He's got some power, but I'm not confident he's got this awesome striking game. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Wrestling is solid. He bodied Takashi Sato for 3 rounds. Takashi Sato was washed at the time. Themba Gorimbo is decent. He lost to AJ Fletcher by submission. Competitive grappling exchanges between them both. Ramiz Brahimaj has 10 wins by submission. Submissions are his forte. Themba Gorimbo likes fights on the ground. He got caught in a guillotine by AJ Fletcher. Am I crazy for thinking Ramiz Brahimaj could also find the submission in this fight? Brahimaj pulled off a rear naked choke against Gilmore, who was horrible. Yes, I agree. Lost to Court McGee. McGee's grind heavy, though. He's tough. He gave Morono trouble last time, and he's an older version of Court McGee. I'm not going to write him off because of that. Paladnikov sucked, but still, submission win. Max Griffin, you can't even fault him for a Max Griffin loss. Then before that, he got an arm triangle. The submission threat of Brahimaj is very intriguing to me. against Themba Gorimbo, who's probably going to look to get this fight to the floor. Themba Gorimbo, who I honestly feel is just overhyped, man. He got the house from The Rock, and it's like everything's behind him, the marketing train, everything. I think Ramiz Brahimaj's game. He's only 31. It's not like Brahimaj is 37 and hasn't fought in 2 years. So last time he fought, he's 29, and he's developing. He's still working his game. He trains at Fortis MMA. He's not a slouch, man. Ramiz Brahimaj's jiu-jitsu is very good. I think Themba Gorimbo might have a slight wrestling advantage, but on the contrary side, Ramiz Brahimaj, outside of, he got bodied by Court McGee, he dominated that Gilmore dude in the wrestling. I know Gilmore did horrible on The Ultimate Fighter. I know, but there's still promising moments. The way he finished it, quick submission. I think Ramiz Brahimaj can beat Themba Gorimbo by submission in a big upset. I'm going to pick Ramiz Brahimaj. I've been against Themba Gorimbo a lot, and every time I say, oh, man, I'm going to change my mind, I can't because I still see sloppy stand-up. I see decent takedowns, but I see a guillotine loss to A.J. Fletcher that I just can't forget. And Ramiz Brahimaj got 10 wins by submission. Give me Brahimaj by upset submission. A surprise at the Apex. There has to be a surprise at the Apex. Brahimaj plus 135, Gorimbo minus 155. Is everybody now playing him? Is everybody seeing it? All right, Gorimbo is most of the people's picks. The bookies, I guess, are just sharpen up, bringing this line closer because they were ready for my video to drop. Minus 155, Gorimbo. The under, 1.5 plus 145. I like under 2.5, though. I'm going to call Brahimaj by sub. If Gorimbo proves me wrong again, I'll give him his praise. But I think Brahimaj is going to get him. I do. I think Brahimaj is going to find the neck. We're overhyping Gorimbo for wins over Pete Rodrigues and Takashi Sato. I know Ramiz Brahimaj maybe hasn't beaten anybody good, but Max Griffin is a hard-ass fight. It's a good opponent to have on the record. Court McGee, good opponent to have on the record. Good experience, at least. Give me Brahimaj for the upset submission. Next fight, co-main event. We got Khaos Williams, Carlston Harris. I'm going Khaos Williams by knockout. I think Carlston Harris is trash. Okay, maybe I'm over shitting on him. All right, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to be a little nicer. I'm being an asshole. I'm being too much of an asshole. Okay, Carlston Harris striking is sloppy as shit. Carlston Harris has slappy boxing. He overthrows shots a lot, and he looks quirky on the feet. Unathletic. Awkward as hell. Good jiu-jitsu, for sure. He has a submission threat. But, like, he was getting bodied by Jeremiah Wells last time out. I know he eventually was able to finish him. He pulled off the upset submission in a fight that he was clearly losing and almost got tapped himself. I think that Khaos Williams, though he didn't look good against Bedoya, is better than that performance. He lost to Randy Brown, but he dropped him on multiple occasions. Miguel Baeza KO. Semelsberg, like, a decision against Randy Brown going against him, he could easily be on a 4-fight win streak. I know the Bedoya fight aged horribly, okay? But, like, maybe that was his worst performance yet. And maybe he's got more than that. I think that he does. Khaos Williams does have legit knockout power, and Carlston Harris is a suspect striker. Khaos Williams doesn't have the best wrestling, but I think he has decent enough wrestling to stop the onslaught from Carlston. Carlston Harris win over Jared Gooden. There's the Wells win. Kasunganai win. Aguilera win. Like, the Kasunganai win has aged amazingly, but nobody expected Kasunganai to actually get good moving up to 85. Shavkat Rakhmonov, of course, destroyed him. Makes perfect sense. I think Khaos Williams can knock him out, too. Khaos is young, man. He's 30. He's prime. Carlston, 36. You know, he's teetering towards the back end. I'm going Khaos Williams by KO. We've kind of heard the hype dwindle down on Khaos and its silence, but, like, when he was coming up, he was laying people out with one touch, and everybody was excited. The Abdul Razak Al Hassan knockout, the Morono knockout. Khaos Williams is capable of devastation, and I'm going to pick Khaos Williams to devastate Carlston Harris here. Odds for the fight, Khaos is minus 145. I'm going to have faith in the power. And I'm going to say he's going to be able to save himself on the ground with Carlston. I don't think he gets bullied. I think he stops the takedowns. I don't think Carlston is explosive enough to land the takedowns consistently. He'll try to tie up, but I think Khaos can do all right separating from clinch. The under is minus 175. I'm going to say we go under. The over is plus 145. We're going Khaos Williams. We're going KO. I think he's going to flatline Carlston Harris. Harris will get sloppy on the feet, and Khaos is going to drop a bomb on him. And I think he's going to get some hype back on him. Put a little more respect on the name. Like, Just the fight before the Bedoya fight, he fought Randy Brown that would have pushed him to the upper echelon with a win. He lost a split decision, and he dropped him on multiple occasions. It takes one shot with Khaos Williams. And if he's striking with Carlston Harris is going flat out. So give me Khaos Williams by KO. Next fight, our main event of the evening. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the likes. And if you're new, subscribe. We got Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. I'm going with Edson Barboza to beat Lerone Murphy. I do not believe in Lerone Murphy at all, okay? I haven't felt the hype ever with Lerone Murphy. I personally think he's decent. He's very physically fit. He's got decent wrestling. He's strong. He's got quality stand-up, but no area of his game jumps off the page to me and says, wow, that guy's going to beat Edson Barboza. The way he beats Edson, if Edson's done, if Edson's on the way out, if he's washed, but I don't think he is. I don't think he is at all. Edson Barboza survived the best shots Sadiq Yusuff has landed on anybody and not put him down. He's gone in there with the best fighters the UFC really has to offer ever. He's fought a who's who list. Lerone Murphy's last 5, I want to talk about real quick, okay? Look at this last one. Josh Kulabeau decision. Okay, he beats Kulabeau by decision. He's not impressive in any of these fights. This Gabriel Santos fight, I thought he could have lost the decision at the end of it. And Santos went on to get destroyed by David Onama in one big shot. Santos is a good prospect. Don't get it twisted. But we're going from these guys, Kulabeau and Gabriel Santos, to Edson Barboza. It's a huge jump. Fight before that, Makwan Amir Khani, who quits every time. Douglas Silva de Andrade, short dude, not to the level. Ricardo Ramos, the lowest fight IQ I've ever seen, but a lot of potential. Maybe he pulls an Oliveira. I hope so. I'm a big fan of Ramos. I don't think Lerone Murphy's that good. And he has a Zubaira Tuhugov draw some years ago. Edson Barboza's last 2. You got Yusuff decision, Billy Q knockout, lost to Bryce Mitchell. He just got out-wrestled bad in that fight. Giga Chikadze did beat him, but it is Giga. The striking is nasty. Shane Burgos win. Edson looked good last time. I don't know. He kind of gave me more faith that he still got it cooking after his win against Sadiq Yusuff, where he had to deal with some serious damage. Lerone Murphy, don't get me wrong. His game is going to be intelligent. He's coming to control. He wants 5 rounds of control time over Edson, but Edson's not a guy that's just let you bully him. We've seen him rock guys with good wrestling before, and I don't think Lerone Murphy has that caliber of wrestling. He has decent control in wrestling, but it doesn't overly impress me. The striking's solid, but not overly impressive. He doesn't have the explosive power. He has no emphatic moves to his game. Nothing stands out to me. Edson's got amazing kicks. He's got good movement. Honestly, the takedown defense looks horrible sometimes, but other fights it looks real good, and the durability is definitely there with Edson. I'm going to go with Edson Barboza. I think this is a hard fight, though. I think Lerone Murphy does garner some control early. I think Edson can pick it up heading into the 2nd and 3rd round, start landing some more significant strikes. Edson could definitely find the chin. To just say Edson's definitely going to win by a decision seems like a lie. It's knockout or decision. I'm going to officially predict Edson Barboza gets a competitive decision over Lerone Murphy. But I do think there's a possibility that he knocks Lerone Murphy flat out. I'm very curious what the knockout prop's going to look at when it drops, man. Right now, Edson Barboza's a dog. Plus 130. I see him with a path to win a hard-fought 5-round decision where he's forced to go to war, but he's going to avoid the best moments from Murphy and have more significant strikes for sure. It's about staying off his back and not getting damaged significantly from top, which I don't think Lerone Murphy is going to be super capable of doing. And then Murphy on the other side, minus 145, the favorite. Over 4.5 is what, plus 120? They're expecting a finish. Maybe it's a Barboza knockout. I think the underdog Edson Barboza is going to win this fight. I think he could knock Lerone Murphy out. I do think he could catch him. Like with Edson, there's always a possibility of a kick coming up high, a knee coming down the center. He's live for knockout in every fight, especially if Lerone Murphy gets takedown heavy and Edson times a jump knee. We've seen him do it in the past. And on top of that, if Lerone Murphy is to strike with Edson, Edson can have a calculated game and pick fighters apart too. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm kind of thinking Edson Barboza might find that knockout, man. I do think he's live for the KO. Now, if you're on the betting side of it, the money line's the A side. Because Edson Barboza at plus money, I know he's 38, but against an unproven, undefeated fighter in Lerone Murphy, I think this is where Edson Barboza shines and thrives. We're going to see what Lerone Murphy's made out of, for sure. He seems pretty durable. He seems like he's going to be able to go the 5, but I expect him to slow down a bit later and Edson to have more significant moments. So Edson Barboza, I guess I'll go for now official decision prediction, but the KO is also pulling me to the side. So as the week goes on, we're going to be glancing at that KO prop for sure. But Edson Barboza to win. I think he keeps his spot right at that bottom tier of the top 15. And I think he's going to be crushing the guys coming up the gate for the most part until he runs into the right savage. I don't think Lerone Murphy is that guy, though. I'm going Edson Barboza to pull it off. He's an underdog, and I think an underdog is due to hit in a UFC main event, and I think this is going to be the week that it happens. So we're going with Edson Barboza for the upset win over Lerone Murphy, giving him the first loss of his pro career, and that is UFC Vegas 92. When you dig into it, it's not a bad card. When you glance at it and you don't look into it, you're kind of like, damn, it's going to be mid. I think there's actually going to be some cool fights. And the main event is very intriguing to me because we're going to find out a lot. We got England versus Brazil, so that's always going to be cool. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Smash the likes if you're new. Subscribe it up if you're new. I guess smash the likes always, but if you're new, make sure to subscribe. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Drop a W in the comments if you got nothing to say, but definitely let me know your picks, specifically main event pick. Do you think Lerone Murphy keeps that O? Or do you think the O's got to go and you're going with Edson? I want to know. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all week long. Peace out, everybody.